But let's start off with the match preview. Obviously, it's a massive game tomorrow, isn't it? Absolutely massive game. If we can get a result tomorrow, obviously it's one of our games in hand. It'll stand us in such good stead, won't it?
It's not, yeah, it's a massive game because it's a away game against a difficult opposition who, you know, people probably expect us to drop points tomorrow, I would say, even though Leicester are in inconsistent form. Their home form recently has been decent. They do have lots of injuries, so there's a big opportunities for us, but we have to make sure we make these games in hand count, and a win tomorrow definitely gets the ball rolling in that front. It puts us, a point behind. It puts us above Arsenal, a win tomorrow, I believe. And
a point behind West Ham.
A point behind West Ham with a game in hand, or 2 games in hand, I think. We have 3 games in hand. It'll be a point behind with 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
So it'll put us in a really strong position in the league. Even a draw tomorrow isn't the worst result in the world, as long as we don't lose. But I think if we get a win, all of a sudden the table is looking very, very interesting for us.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, when you can look at our games in hand, Arsenal, Burnley, Brighton, Leicester, you might argue maybe obviously Arsenal's a North London derby. It's probably one of the hardest ones, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, with the squad that they have, I know they just beat Watford 4-1, but we should really be able to stamp our authority with all the injuries that they do have. I mean, they've got a bucket load of injuries, don't they?
It's crazy.
Absolutely,
I really hope they don't try and call it off again.
Of course they're going to try and call it off. Of course they're going to try and call it off.
The list of players who are definitely ruled out for the fixture, you got Johnny Evans, Jamie Vardy, Ricardo Pereira, Wesley Fofana, Boubacara Soumare potentially is a major doubt, Castagne a major doubt, Iheanacho's out, Mendy's out, Amate's out, Ndida's out, and Bertrand is out, with Sionchu, Justin, Dewsbury Hall and Luke Thomas looking to recover, and Patson Daka all looking to recover.
Yeah, I've heard Patson Daka is back. As you can see,
is he not at the AFCON? No,
he's not. When you look at this is the predicted lineup. I mean, there's a few maybes in there, but when you're looking at that team,
still a decent team.
It's a decent team, but it's still like a shadow of their full strength side. You know what I mean?
Well, where's Schmeichel? Is he out?
I'm not sure about Schmeichel. Is Schmeichel out?
It doesn't look like it. No, I think he's fit. Maybe just Ward played in the cup game.
Right.
Look, I think in terms, if you go put the team back up again, 1 sec. If you look at the front line, that's still pretty much their first choice, except for Vardy. You still got a very decent front line there. Midfield, known indeed. We still got Tielemans there, who there's a lot of rumours about his future. At the back, though, that is a very second-rate defence.
Yeah, massively, with Chowdhury and Vestergaard at centre back.
Well, we have the tools to really to take advantage.
If we don't have the tools to take advantage of that defence, what defence do we have the tools to take advantage of? I mean,
well, Watford haven't kept a clean sheet all season. They were a minute away. I'm saying Watford, when we played them, they hadn't kept a clean sheet all season, and they were a minute away from doing so against us.
It's very true. It's very true.
Look, it's going to be their defence definitely can be got at. That's for sure. But we've got to make sure that, although it looks like Dyer probably isn't going to be back, but we have to make sure we keep their front line quiet, which is still they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, they'll be dangerous on the counter, but I do expect us to be able to trouble that defence. I really do. With Lucas Moura, with Harry Kane in the side, I mean, the quality is there. The quality is there. It's just that we need to perform. We haven't performed for like 4 or 5 games now. So we need to step up this game massively. I think this game is there for the taking for us if we come in with a strong mentality and strong belief that we can win the game. I believe we can win this game. When you're looking at the form of Leicester and Spurs coming into it, I mean, look at Leicester. Look how many goals they're conceding at the moment, but they're scoring a lot of goals as well. So 11 goals scored, 10 goals conceded in their last 5. I mean, their form in terms of, it's Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it? Look, win, lost, draw, win, lost. So it sounds like a draw's coming, but their home form is good, though. Their home form is good. Having said that, lost 2 of their last 5, though.
Yeah, but I think they've won their last 3.
Yeah,
and including their last one. They actually haven't played in the Premier League in 2022 yet.
Every game
because every game got called up. Their last game they played was Liverpool, in which they did win 1-0. However, I don't know if you saw that game. They were very lucky to win that game. Liverpool missed a penalty and a host of really good chances, And then the one chance came Leicester's way and they took it, and then they were able to hold out. I think they've got to say, fair enough, but they're very lucky to win that game. But yeah, they've been very inconsistent throughout the whole season, haven't they, Leicester? Really inconsistent. They've struggled to really find any sort of rhythm. They're either going too attacking or too defensive. And, it's very disappointing for them, considering last season they were, again, for the second year in a row, in a top 4 race, and actually built a really large points gap between 4th and 5th, or even 3rd at some points, and they didn't make it for the second year in a row. Now, they're in Europa League this year. They exit in the group stages, and in the league they're not doing great. They're going 10th, although they've got games in hand. So it's interesting if I speak to a Leicester fan how he feels about Brendan Rodgers, because he was under a bit of pressure earlier in the season when the results really weren't going his way. But I think recently he's kind of got a few results to stave off that kind of pressure. But they are 10th, and considering last 2 seasons have been consecutive 5th place finishes, and you want to build on that, I wonder if they think it's good enough.
Yeah, look, they probably don't think it's good enough, but I think that, in my opinion, if I was a Leicester fan, I'd be sticking with Brendan Rodgers. I really would, because I don't think there's a manager that's going to go to Leicester right now that'd be better than Brendan Rodgers. I really don't. And I think that, yeah, fine, maybe they're not having a good season this year, maybe they should be doing better, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't put faith in your manager and stick by him, you know what I mean? I think that Leicester have proved in the past that Brendan Rodgers is, well, Brendan's proved in the past for Leicester that he is a good manager. Won the FA Cup, was it last season or the year before? He's just won the FA Cup last season, so I think give the guy a break. I think that he's had a lot of injury problems this year, Leicester, especially in defence. So I think, yeah, look, maybe they might not be having the best season. I don't think that he should be under the pressure that that you're talking about. I really don't.
I think it wasn't just me. So I remember seeing some Leicester fans on YouTube saying they were questioning things earlier this season.
I know, I've seen it, and even heard Leicester fans call up Talk Sport and stuff like that, being like, "Oh yeah, Brendan's got to go" and all that. But it's very reactionary, isn't it? It's very reactionary.
Well, yeah, because if he goes, he probably gets a decent job after. You'd probably say.
I think so. I mean,
don't know who though, but
if we wouldn't have had Conte, we would love him here. We would love him at Spurs.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded him at Spurs.
You know what I mean? So
I wouldn't say I'd have loved him, but I would think it would have been a decent appointment.
When you're looking at the managers that we were linked with, apart from Poch and Conte, he would have been 3rd probably.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe Ten Hag. Or would I rather Potter?
He's definitely up there, is what I'm saying. He's in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good manager. He's a good manager, but it happens at every job except for Celtic, where he went unbeaten for all those games.
Yeah.
At Liverpool it happened, and at Leicester it's happening, where he builds something and then he slips right at the last moment.
It's true.
It's happened. It's now become a pattern. It's not just.
So he'll suit him well at Spurs then.
Exactly. He's Spursy. He's got it in him.
It's like a glove, mate.
Exactly. He's got it in him. It's going to be a very interesting game. Let's see how we fare against a depleted Leicester side, whether we fully take advantage or whether Leicester kind of rally the troops. And, because they were depleted against Liverpool as well. And they did look, and despite the fact they should have lost, they did end up grinding out the result. They had to defend very well to get that result. So I don't see this being a simple affair at all.
No, I completely agree with you. And when you're looking at Spurs and Leicester games historically, last 5 games, I mean, you always know that this game throws up goals. But could this game be a bit different? I know, Leicester's defence depleted. We're not scoring that many goals at the moment, though. Bring up like the last 5 games. So last year, we went there back end of last game of the season, wasn't it? Beat them 4-2.
Right, we pretty much stopped them getting Champions League.
Gareth Bale scoring those 2 goals. But there's goals. You can see goals. Leicester v Spurs always throws up goals. Do you reckon it'll be the same tomorrow?
I want to say yes, but I feel like it's going to be a bit of a tighter one. I've got a feeling it's going to be a game where it won't be so open, because I feel Leicester, with all their players missing, they're going to try and play quite defensive just to make sure that they're not easy to play. They're not easy to play against, and they know they've got the forward players to do a bit of damage if they get the opportunity to. Whereas Spurs, under Conte, we've been, just since he's come in, we've had one of the tightest defensive records. We're not easy to play against. I think we've only conceded in his 8 games in the Premier League. We've only conceded 4 goals, I believe. So we're quite strong at the moment defensively, even though Dyer is probably going to be out, which is going to be a massive.
Is he out? I thought he was going to be back for this game. They said he was going to be back for bloody the last game, and he's still out.
Well, Conte said he's got a muscle problem, and he said that he didn't say specifically Dyer, but he said it's going to be important after the international break to have these important players back. So that kind of implies he's going to be out. But I don't look. We'll see later on.
Could be talking about Romero and Son as well.
No, he could well be. I'm just saying it. He said it in the same sentence when he was talking about Dyer, so it kind of implies that Dyer's out, but he didn't say it specifically. So I'm not 100% sure. If we assume he's out, then do I back us to keep a clean sheet in this game? I don't know. But the thing is, do I back us to be like opening up Leicester at every opportunity? I don't. I really do. Even though Leicester are going to be really depleted, I think because we have no Son, I think Bergwijn's going to be available, but Son is such a big element to how we play. We're going to be heavily, heavily reliant on Kane and Lucas for this game. And if they get stifled, it's going to be, again, reliant on the wing-backs. And if they can't get any joy, or if they're not showing any quality, then I see us being frustrated again. It could be one of those where we're relying on it. It could be 1 goal in it, I feel. Maybe rely on a set piece or a bit of luck or a penalty or something like that. That could win the game. I could see it being like a 1-0 or something to either side.
Yeah, I can see that as well. I mean, but I think if one of the teams does break the deadlock early, I think maybe there can be quite a few goals in this game, especially if Leicester break the deadlock early. We're going to need to come out and try and find something, won't we? We've got a super chat here from Wolves5, big up, and he says, good luck and morning Spurs, lose and Leicester is also in the top 4 race, highly important. Do you agree with that?
Leicester in the top 4 race if they win. Well, considering the games in hand, if they win, that'll put them on 28, and that'll put them 9 points off 4th with 3 games in hand. So I think at that stage, I would say not quite, because that's still a lot of points. And even if they could win 3 games in hand and be level on points, but it's a bit different to when Spurs are 4 points behind with 4 games in hand. That means we could lose 2 of those games in hand and still be points-wise on for 4th, whereas they have no room for error. And do I back Leicester having to be faultless in a run of games like that, especially with all these injuries? I don't. So I don't see them with a win. So I don't see a win tomorrow putting them in the race. They'll have to go on a crazy run to be in the race. Whereas Tottenham could lose tomorrow and they're still in the race for top 4. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. I think you're probably right. But in terms of the way we can attack Leicester, the way we can hurt Leicester tomorrow, is it going to be just targeting their defence really tomorrow?
If they're going to play, if they're playing all Brighton and that Campbell guy, I don't really know who he is, but I'm guessing he's a youngster who's played a few games this season. If they're playing them off wing back, they're going to have a lot on their plate. With although everyone can say what they want about Emerson and Reguilon and whatever the quality they have, one thing for sure is Emerson and they're both getting forward very, very well. They get in very dangerous positions, and the wing back's going to have to notice that during the game. He can't just let them run free all the time. So they're going to have. It's going to be difficult for them, and it depends if you play the 3 in the middle or the 2. I would probably play the 3 in the centre, attacking. I try and fit them in if we can.
Who would your 3 be?
Obviously, Kane and Lucas. Who's the other one is?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant 3 in midfield.
No, I meant it up front. I meant up front.
3-4-3.
Yeah, 3-4-3.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking the same.
Probably Bergwijn. I'd try and fit Bergwijn in. Play Lucas on the right, Bergwijn on the left, and Kane up top.
Skip and Højbjerg in the middle.
Skip and Højbjerg in the middle, and that's probably what I would do. Because although it risks getting outnumbered in the middle, although they have their midfielders injured, I think that defence needs to be as occupied as possible. And needs to have as many attackers to think of as possible. And it's different when you're playing against Liverpool, where they're going to commit loads of players forward and you can just leave 2 players up top and leave a 2-on-2 situation. it's going to be very different against Leicester. They're not going to, although they've been, to be honest, fairly recent, they have been quite attacking. I feel like in this game, with all those players injured at the back, they're going to have to be somewhat pragmatic to try and get a result. If they come at us, I think that's the game wrapped up. I think we'll win easy. That's why I don't think they'll do that. I think it's going to be a bit of a pragmatic performance.
It's a bit more street smart than that, Brendan, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll have to be. Although, in a weird way, their biggest assets recently have been going forward because they've scored quite a few goals at home. They're going to have to be pragmatic to get a result because, although we're not the most free-flowing side, if you give us space and you attack us and then you leave yourselves open, we can be. That's what we're good at.
I mean, the blueprint's there of how to frustrate us, isn't it? The blueprint's there. It's been shown time and time again this season. You sit compact against us. You sit in a low block. You're going to frustrate us.
Yeah, that's the last 5 games, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. People are getting wise to that, and that's what. And people are getting success with that against
Although
us.
Chelsea did the opposite approach, but they're just a very good team.
Yeah, I think that's something different. But when you're looking at teams that have same or lesser quality than us, if they do that, it's very likely they're going to frustrate us.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened against Southampton and against Southampton, Morecambe, and Watford in the last 3 games. Before that, you wouldn't necessarily identify that specifically as the issue, but I think it's become very clear recently that when you're playing against a team like Watford and you're struggling that badly to create good quality openings, you know that's against the defence of Watford's quality, which hadn't kept a clean sheet all season and really struggling. That tells me that we do seriously lack either the pattern of play. I don't think it's the formation or anything, because I think even in these games against Southampton and Watford, we're consistently getting in good positions, consistently throughout the game.
It's the killer ball we're missing.
Yeah, it's a killer ball and a bit of quality out wide. If we had better quality wide players, I'm not saying all of a sudden we're going to win every game 5-0, but you definitely create at least 2 or 3 quality chances throughout the game. The fact is, Emerson's final ball means that we didn't create from wide areas. We created barely anything, and that needs to change. That has to change.
The final ball from the left as well hasn't been as good either.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So both sides need to massively improve, to be honest. And who are you expecting on the left side tomorrow? You think Reguilon comes back in if he's fit?
I'm expecting that, but I have to wait and hear.
Please, no, Matt Doherty, please.
Yeah, anyone but Doherty has to be
play Sessegnon if Reguilon's not ready. But back on to Leicester. I mean, who's the player that's really kind of impressed you for them this season?
I don't know about the season as a whole, but definitely of recently, Maddison is really playing really well. Maddison is playing very well. He's scoring some really great goals. He's got his shooting boots back. I think earlier in the season,
He always goes through a period like this in a season, though.
well, we had earlier in the season, if I'm right, he was subject to a lot of transfer rumours, wasn't he, to Arsenal and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that might have affected him. Maybe like in terms of his performances, because he was in and out of the team. I remember he was actually dropped for a few games.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing all the time, but I don't know when it was, but it was recently. I think here we go. So in his since Watford, they beat Watford 4-2. Since that game, he's been on an unbelievable run actually of goal scoring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In his last 6 games, he scored 4 goals and got 5 assists. That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's like England form. Like you should be getting an England squad.
Like I said with Maddison, though, I think that he always goes, every season he goes on a run of like 10 games where he absolutely smashes it out, and then he goes quiet for a bit and then comes back and does well again. I mean,
but we're catching him in a hot form.
Yeah, it's the wrong time.
Yeah.
Another player who has impressed me massively this season, who impresses me massively every season, to be honest, is Tielemans. He doesn't look like he's signing a new contract. I mean, how good do you think he's been this season for them?
Yeah, he's really stepped up in terms of his goal output. He used to score the occasional banger, and then he would be restricted to 1 or 2 goals a season. But he definitely seems to be getting in more forward positions this season, definitely being much more of a goal threat. No surprise that he's being linked to the likes of, I know he's being linked to Arsenal and stuff like that for next season. We should definitely be sniffing around him if there's an opportunity, because he's a player not only with his long shot, his passing range as well is something that we lack in our squad. The only thing I worry about Tielemans is I don't think he's the best. He's not terrible. He's not like Ndombele, but he's not the best off the ball. He can be a bit of a liability. He's a bit slow, but I think in general he's a top class midfielder. Really, he's developed at Leicester into the midfielder everyone thought he would be. To be honest, like Anderlecht, he used to was at Anderlecht. He was at before.
Well, he was at Monaco and then Anderlecht before that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when we went to Ghent away back in 2017. That was now. We were staying in this hotel.
Do you remember that?
We were staying in this hotel, and we were talking to the hotel manager, and he was. Well, I can't remember how we got into the conversation, but we were like talking about Belgian prospects
and stuff, and he said Anderlecht.
That was it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You have to watch this player, Tielemans. He's going to be a real star. He's going to." I remember I'd heard of him at the time because he'd
FM legend.
First of all, he's an FM legend, but some of his goals just go viral sometimes because they're just absolute bangers.
Yeah.
So you just see them.
Yeah.
But you'd always wonder, is he going to marry that with being a top player? Like, not because it's one thing just being a scorer of great goals, but you could just be a John Joe Shelvey, someone who scores great goals, but is not exactly a great player. But he's really developed his game. He's become an all-round midfielder. And at Leicester, when you marry that kind of quality he has with work ethic and doing the simple things as well as long-range shots and through balls and all that kind of stuff, then you become a top-class midfielder. And I think that's what Tielemans is at the moment.
When talking about those two players, Tielemans and Maddison, would you take both of them at Spurs right now?
I think we could use both of them. I really do.
Who do you reckon is more vital to us? If I could say you could only sign one of these players, who would you go for?
The thing is, I think we're more in need of a player like Maddison, but I think Tielemans is probably the more consistent, better player. So it's a difficult one. I'd probably go for Maddison. Just because we need that creativity. He also has the long shot, like Tielemans does, which we are like. And if you think about our squad, we have Kane and Son who can shoot from range, but who else can?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And when they're stuck up front all the time, it's hard for them to get those shots off. You need someone from deep who's able, when we are being frustrated, someone who can pull one out the bag like that.
Definitely.
Could be very vital. And he's also very good at free kicks, Maddison, which we don't really have at the moment. Very good at set pieces. And if we can get him playing more consistently, he's still what? How old is he? 24, maybe?
Maddison or Tielemans?
Maddison. He can't be that old.
Well, Tielemans is 24. Maddison's probably around the same, yeah.
Yeah, he can't be older than 24, is he? Maybe 25.
1 second.
James Maddison. So I think
He's 25, yeah.
25. I think he's got serious quality in him. And if we can get him playing more consistently, he could be one of the best playmakers in the league in terms of that number 10 position. The quality he has.
Yeah, it's a shame he's just
I've seen him
big Arsenal fan, though.
Yeah, it's a shame. But I've seen him do Eriksen-style crosses, like from those half spaces with his right and left foot.
It's never been consistent enough for me for Maddison, though.
But if we can get him consistent, like he's got the quality. If we can get if you get that consistently out of him, he's top class. He's top class.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Billy Hoyle in the comments says Ben Davis long shots bang.
Ben Davis, like the one every 5 years. I remember he hit the bar against Arsenal one year, didn't he? If you remember that, he had a shot from like 30 yards.
He scored one against Stoke last season.
He scored one against Stoke. True.
But look, I think that kind of draws a close to the preview. But what's your prediction going into it?
I think it's a tight affair. I think both teams. I think Conte in this game obviously is going to want to win, but I think he'll also realise that a draw is not the worst result. I don't think it will be a draw. I just think it's going to be a very tight game, and I think there'll be one goal in it, and I think it'll go to Tottenham. So I think it'll be 1-0.
1-0 Spurs. Harry Kane.
I think it'll be like from a set piece or something. I think it'll be very similar to Watford. I'm not saying it's going to be 96th minute, but I'm saying it'll maybe like Sanchez or a Dyer, or if Dyer doesn't play, something just like or one of the wing backs or something. So like a defender will score. I've got a feeling. I feel that they'll just like crowd Kane out the game. They'll do everything they can. I think our only hope of getting Kane into the game is because their defense isn't so good, we can get Lucas to dribble at them, and because their defense is a bit depleted, the quality defenders might not be able to tackle him. That could open up space for someone like Kane. Other than that, I see them like literally getting 3-4 players around Kane every time.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think if we're going to go with the back three of Davis, Sanchez, and Tanganga, obviously we're very susceptible to conceding a goal from a set piece or something. Definitely. I mean, they're just all over the place at the moment from set pieces. So if that is the back three we're going, I really can't see us keeping a clean sheet. But I do think we can go and win this game with this depleted Leicester side. I do agree with you. It is going to be settled by the odd goal and it's going to be a tight affair. But I think we can nick this 1-2-1. And I think if we do nick this 1-2-1, it's a brilliant, absolutely brilliant result for us. We go above Arsenal, get a point behind West Ham with like 2 or 3 games in hand. And yeah, we can just shut Arsenal up for a little bit. That's the main point anyway. So I'm going 2-1. My brother's going 1-0 to Spurs. I want to know your score predictions in the comment section.